Good morning. My name is Tedman Wong, Hearing Officer for San Francisco Public Works. Jackie Bo is the clerk for this hearing. This hearing is being recorded via Zoom and will be available afterward through a link on the San Francisco Public Works website at sfpublicworks.org. As this is a virtual hearing, there is no sign-in sheet, so if you would like to receive information about the results of this hearing, please send an email to the email address listed on the hearing notice. This public hearing is being held to consider one item, Order number 210501, to consider approving an exception to the subdivision regulations related to the Auxiliary Water Supply System, AWSS, for the Stonestown Development Project, superseding Order 210489. My job as hearing officer is to gather the facts for the hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make my recommendations to the Director. The Director will make the final determination. When the Director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them if you have provided contact information. The hearing will proceed as follows for today's case. I will ask Public Works staff to speak first and present the case. There is no time limit for this presentation. Then I will allow the applicant to speak. Then I will allow any member of the public to speak. After Public Works staff presents the case, each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to speak. The clerk will monitor the time for all speakers and will indicate when the speaker has 30 seconds left. If you are a party to this proceeding, I or the clerk will call on you to speak. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let us know before you speak. You will then have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. If you are a member of the public or a witness who wants to speak, wait for me or the clerk to call for public comments. Then, if you have joined us on a computer, use Zoom's raise your hand feature to put yourself in the queue to speak. If you have joined us on a telephone, press *9 to indicate you are raising your hand. When it is your turn to speak, I or the clerk will recognize you. If you are on a computer, unmute yourself before you speak. If you are on a telephone, press *6 to unmute yourself before you speak. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let us know before you speak. You will then have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. Comments and questions should be addressed to me and not to the applicant or department. If you cannot finish your comments within the allotted time, you may submit written testimony to me by the end of this hearing. If I feel that a question is warranted, I will ask the question. After all comments are completed, I will close the item. We will now begin the hearing. We will start with any general public comments. This is for members of the public to address the hearing officer on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. It doesn't look like we have
I
any.
don't see anybody raise
Nope.
their hand.
Okay, if there are no general public comments, I will close this item. This item is now closed. We will now move on to hearing order number 210501 to consider approving an exception to the subdivision regulations related to the Auxiliary Water Supply System, AWSS, for the Stonestown Development Project, superseding order number 210489. May I have Public Works makes its presentation?
Good morning, Mr. Wong. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, perfect. My name is Denny Fan, and I'm a project manager with the Infrastructure Task Force, and I'll be presenting a developer request to approve an exception to the subdivision regulation related to the Auxiliary Water Supply System at the Stonestown Development Project. As a general overview, the Stonestown Development Project is located off of 19th Avenue, just north of SF State in Park Merced and east of Lake Merced. And the existing site is a 43-acre private property that's anchored by the Stonestown Galleria Mall, of which 27 acres of the site is currently underutilized as surface parking lot. The project is a proposed major joint development agreement project that will build up to 3,500 new housing units and construct new parks and plazas, retail, office, community amenity space, and structured parking. Brookfield Properties is the project sponsor, and they are currently moving the project through the approval process with the final board of supervisor approval expected next month. Public Works is responsible for ensuring that adequate infrastructure is built to meet the needs of the proposed project and the existing neighborhood. And we do this by managing the subdivision mapping, design coordination, permitting, construction inspection, and acceptance of the overall private and public infrastructure improvements on behalf of all city agencies. This infrastructure will generally include the installation of a new combined sewer system, a new low pressure water system, various storm drain improvements, street lighting, power and other dry utilities, new streets and sidewalk improvements, new traffic signals and transit improvements, as well as new open space, park, and other community amenity spaces. All of this infrastructure will be constructed in phases and will be immediately connected to the city's utility systems and roadway networks, and available for immediate use and service upon installation and acceptance by the Board of Supervisors. However, one infrastructure system, if constructed, would not be ready for immediate use after installation because the city's network does not currently reach the project area. And that system is the Auxiliary Water Supply System, or commonly known as AWSS. And this is a high pressure network of water pipes and hydrants that provide firefighting water and serves as an additional and redundant system to the regular low pressure water system and hydrants that provide buildings potable water. The closest point of connection to the city's AWSS is over 1,700 feet away, or 1/3 mile, at the intersection of Ocean Avenue and San Fernando Way, which is shown here as the red line. And the city doesn't currently have plans to extend the system towards the project direction in the immediate future. Alternatively, the city is working on expanding its portable emergency firefighting water system on the west side of the city that is separate from the city's AWSS and could be used as another source of redundant firefighting service. However, the nearest point of connection to this portable system is also far away. As part of the city's expansion efforts, a portion of the system is currently under construction in the Sunset District, with the planned point of connection reaching as far down as the intersection here at 19th and Sloat. But this would still be over 1,350 feet away from the project boundary, which is shown here as the orange line. And this work does not plan to be operational until as early as 2029. However, the San Francisco Subdivision Regulations, Section 17F, requires all subdivision projects to construct AWSS to the satisfaction of the fire department, including but not limited to high pressure water mains and hydrants or a portable water supply system. But due to the distance to the nearest points of connection, the developer has requested that the Director of Public Works consider waiving the requirement to install AWSS at the project site, and instead provide the San Francisco Fire Department with an in lieu payment so that the fire department could purchase enhanced firefighting equipment to extend to the nearest points of connection that I previously mentioned. And this would allow the fire department to immediately provide firefighting services to the project site in nearby areas sooner than later. The in lieu payment is contemplated to purchase one additional fire engine, 18 Gleason valves, 18 portable hydrants, and 100 lengths of 5-inch hoses. For Section 1217 of the Subdivision Code, the director can authorize an exception or waiver as long as they are not in violation of the Subdivision Map Act, and the director finds the following 3 conditions to be true. The first is that applying certain codes would create practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships to the project. The deferrals will not be materially detrimental to public welfare or injurious to other properties, and the waiver or exceptions are not contrary to the project documents or city regulation. Public Works has consulted with the impacted city agencies and the fire department and recommend that the director grant the request pursuant to Subdivision Code Section 1712 to waive the installation of AWSS at the project site on the condition that the project provides an in lieu payment to the fire department for the purchase of the enhanced firefighting equipment in the amount and per the payment schedule agreed upon by the fire department in the pending development agreement. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Denny. Does any representative from the applicant or developer wish to speak? You will have 3 minutes to make your presentation.
Okay, I see one hand raised. Let me see. Can you raise your hand again? I just saw one hand raised. Okay, Okay, go ahead and talk. You have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. My name is Dominic Tutilio. I'm with Brookfield Properties, the project sponsor. Denny covered most of the relevant materials, so thanks, Denny, for your overview of our request. We appreciate Public Works considering our request today, and we respectfully request approval. And we're also available for any questions if the public has questions. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else from the applicant or developer who wishes to speak? You will have 3 minutes to make your presentation.
I don't see any hand raised anymore.
Okay, thank you. And we move on to the next section. Does any member of the public wish to speak? You will have 3 minutes to make your presentation. Again, if you do wish to speak, use the raise your hand feature on your computer or on your phone.
I don't see any hand raised.
Okay, if there are no more comments for this item, I will now close the item and will make my recommendations to the director. Order number 210501 is now closed.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.